thoughts in my mind, so come on, get your fists up. Tip cups to the ceiling if you're sick of feeling ripped off. I let my fist off, get lit and lift off. Raise your hands if you with me and you pissed off. I'm standing on the corner of 6th Street. I'm running out of time for this week. My head's pounding, stomach shaking. It's worth it, the hunger makes it.
Hey, and we're back. It is more Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2. If you're watching me on Twitch, it is a glorious Saturday. If you're watching me on YouTube, I don't know what day it is. We just watched the cutscene for the Stanford incident. I might hit the review computer to play it once more for you. Actually, I
understand your skepticism, Luke, but you have to believe me.
Did not expect this to come in.
We absolutely can't rebel against the government on this. If we do, the consequences
can't be any worse than burning the Constitution.
You're exaggerating. This is a temporary measure. Once things settle down...
I ain't buying it, Reed. And I can't believe somebody as brainy as you would.
Really? You can't? Reed's kind of an asshole.
Good time.
In case you haven't noticed.
Perhaps you can talk some sense into Mr. Cage here. He and Iron Fist seem determined to get arrested.
He's the one who needs a reality check. But good luck getting anywhere with that.
Yeah, thanks. Can I talk about my shit now? Thank you. So if you tuned in last week, you would have seen the cutscene which featured the Stanford incident, where a young group of teenage heroes caused a massive explosion in a rural town called Stanford. Lots of people died, over 600, and now they're wanting to register superheroes. On a side note, my buddy Todd Orkham, also known as Cameron, who we've got a couple episodes we play together on the YouTubes. He just informed me that they are making they're filming The Boys. He hasn't mentioned a TV show. I'm assuming a TV show. That's way too much stuff to pack into a movie, so I'm excited. Apparently Seth Rogen is a part of it. Cameron, I'm hoping you can tell me if Simon Pegg is a part of it in any way, shape, or form. If you don't know what The Boys is, it is definitely a darker take on the superhero genre. If you're reading Doomsday Clock right now, from DC, there's actually a very funny parallel in that where people are claiming that the government is the reason that all the DC superheroes exist. There's all these conspiracy theories. In The Boys, that is pretty much 100% true, and the government is behind every superhuman. And there is some truly core-shattering shit that happens in that. Simon Pegg was a part of the creation of that book. I'm hoping he isn't part of it. So they're doing an Americanized version of it then, most likely. So sorry, again, for those of you watching on YouTube right now, we're going off on a bit of a tangent, but so Seth Rogen is doing the and from what Cameron is saying, Carl Urban is slated to play the lead badass of the entire thing. He's the guy who throws together this group of ne'er-do-well guys, gives them all Borderline superpowers, and basically it's their job to keep all of these government-created superheroes in check. And so Billy Butcher is the main guy who runs this, and having Carl Urban play him, that's going to be badass. I won't lie, it's in my head, again, because of the British origin of the original of The Boys, it's always been Vinnie Jones. I always pictured him as being Billy Butcher. But that said, with this Americanized version, I could see that I could see Carl Urban doing a more Americanized version of that, for sure.
You have reached the voicemail box of
Reed Richards.
Please leave your message at the tone.
Yeah, hey Reed, this is Ben. Look, I can't do this. Lord knows I've followed you into some pretty crazy places over the years, but somehow this is one place I can't go. I've been thinking about it for a long time. Registration's wrong, and I won't support a law I don't believe in, but I'm still a patriot. I ain't gonna fight my own government, so the way I see it, that leaves me only one choice. I'm out. Going underground till this thing blows over. Don't bother trying to find me.
So as Cameron just mentioned, Carl Urban has a little bit heavier acting chops. I agree with that. I think if you were making The Boys anywhere from, let's say, 6 to 10 years ago, Vinnie Jones would be an ideal choice for a British actor to do it. In terms of the stuff that happens with Billy Butcher's background story, you get an actor like Carl Urban is going to be able to pull off some of that heart-wrenching shit a lot better than what Vinnie Jones would be able to do now. Vinnie Jones is also getting up there, not saying he's an awesome.
But what about the rest? How can we convince...
They're gonna have to make their own choice. Stark, Richards, and Songbird are obviously a lost cause. But maybe... Well, speak of the devil. So you folks made up your minds yet? From what I hear, they ain't gonna give you much more time to sit on the fence.
Maybe.
With Cap in charge, as long as it takes.
That's a valid point.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. You're either with us or against us.
New York Senator Lieber decried the recent passage of the Registration Act today.
Cameron's just like, Vinny's awesome, but has trouble separating from Bullet Tooth Tony. That's fair.
I ain't no government puppet, and I assume you feel the same way. There are worse things you could do than risk jail time to do the right thing. Glad to hear it. We're gonna need some real heroes to get through this thing. Anyway, think it over. But like I said, you better hurry up.
Not to mention, I don't know if you ever if anybody out there's ever watched The Cape. That will almost ruin Vinnie Jones as a villain for you, or like a serious actor for you in any way, shape, or form. It's not. I don't want to say it's the worst superhero show that's ever came up, but it ain't great.
Hey, good times, huh? I can. The government's always wanted to take us down a peg. Now they see their chance. But Cap showed us what we need to do. If we had time, I'd tell you some stories about S.H.I.E.L.D. Just trust me. World peace isn't at the top of their priority list.
That's a valid point.
Between you and me, I hope so. I have no intention of registering. And we're gonna need a leader. People have died. Nothing can change that. But we can't let it keep us from doing what we know is right. Look, personal freedom is what Cap's fighting for. This is your choice to make. I know which way I'm going. Hopefully you do too.
Yeah, so as I was saying, this all ties very much into the Civil War storyline.
With the Superhuman Registration Act looking likely to pass within the week, we recently sat down with one of its most surprising critics, Captain America.
Thanks for having me, Brian.
Our pleasure. Captain, in the wake of the Stamford tragedy, the public overwhelmingly favors mandatory registration for all superhumans. Can millions of Americans be wrong?
Unfortunately, they can, Brian. Our country's history is littered with wrongs that most Americans approved of at the time. Slavery, the incarceration of Japanese Americans during World War II, the McCarthy hearings.
But how do you deal with it, knowing that nearly everyone is against you on this?
I think of what Mark Twain wrote on the subject. If you alone of all the nation shall decide one way, and that way be the right way according to your convictions, you have done your duty by yourself and by your country.
An inspiring quote.
That Absolutely. NPC is ruining.
When the mob and the press and the whole world tell you to move, Your job is to plant yourself like a tree beside the river of truth and tell the whole world, no, you move.
I do like how this game adds some extra stuff into the mythos. I have to see what happens to this NPC now. He just stands there. Okay. Fair enough.
Stark Enterprises' current stock price, $42.18, down $1.16.
DC art bundle. That's confusing. Ooh, dossier. Yeah, like I say, this isn't really a clear-cut issue. I think, like a lot of readers when I was younger, it seemed very much black and white down the middle. Obviously, Cap was right, and I still agree with Cap for the most part. Like I say, I just don't think Tony went around about this whole thing properly. As I kind of stated earlier, My Hero Academia, that universe handled super people pretty damn well. Marvel and DC don't seem to have that same.
I'm trying, but I just can't follow these equations.
I'd be surprised if you could, Tony. They're a new form of science I invented, actually. A way to predict future trends by mathematically modeling past events.
Really? How reliable?
Very. I've been using it to predict general
a little
trends
prelude
for
to Civil
years.
War II.
And what are they showing you now?
A series of societal earthquakes, conflicts beyond anything that's ever happened. The death of billions.
My God.
I ran the numbers again and again. I found no force that could be applied anywhere to make a better outcome until...
The Registration Act.
Yes, that's the first part. Other actions will be necessary, in the right order, at the right times.
Actions that will turn us against our friends. Change everything we know.
I'm well aware of that, Tony. But the alternatives are much, much worse.
Whoever said saving the world would be easy, huh? All right, Reed. Walk me through the numbers. And take it slow.
An official list of confirmed dead is not expected to be completed for weeks.
Also, there's a pretty clear-cut way to determine whether or not someone in the Marvel Universe is making the right decision or the wrong decision. Did that decision include Tony Stark, Reed Richards, and Hank Pym in any way, shape, or form? If the answer is yes, especially to all three, it was the wrong choice. Flat out, no doubt.
And so, in a worst-case scenario,
those guys do not
we'd
create
find ourselves in the equivalent of a superpowered civil war.
Heroes so busy fighting each other, the criminals get a free pass.
Exactly. That's where you and the Thunderbolts would come in, Melissa. We need you to help S.H.I.E.L.D. keep crime under control while we focus on... Oh, hello again. I'm glad to see you're not going off half-cocked like Luke, Danny, and Eli over there seem to be. We need cooler heads to prevail at a time like this. There's morality and there's practicality. I may have personal issues with the Act, but I also have hard evidence that if we rebel against it, the entire world's future will be imperiled. So, there's really only one sane choice here.
Really? Oh, Wolvie!
I'm not saying the SRA is evil, but going down a path we know leads to disaster would certainly be irresponsible and foolish.
Well, y'all just take
I'm
a
not
page
sure
from the
that's been
X-Men.
determined. Incarceration, most likely. Those who violently resist might accidentally be harmed.
Security. Prepare to receive inbound S.H.I.E.L.D. contingent.
That's classified, I'm afraid. We can speak more freely about it once you've registered. Now, if you'll excuse me, Songbird and I have some logistics to discuss.
Okay, I think that... Oh no, I got one more person to talk.
Hey, you come to a decision yet? For now, yeah, it is. Stanford would never have happened if superheroes had proper oversight. We don't let cops run around shooting whoever they want. If somebody wants the authority to take on bad guys, They need to answer to somebody.
See, that is a fair argument in my mind. Again,
no one's got a
just
better
don't
reason
agree with
to
the
be
way they went
paranoid
about
than
it.
I do. And I'm telling you, this is the way it's gotta go. Technically, that's true. But someone supervising their actions could have saved those innocents.
And yeah, I agree. The new warriors should not have been.
I can't make the decision for you. Just remember, we're supposed to protect people. Signing up for training and accountability is the best way to do that.
And that is something I always found very confusing. I didn't understand how the new warriors had zero oversight. Like, you look at Young Justice, you look at Teen Titans, at least there was accountability there. Fucking Batman yelling at you if you did something wrong. But yeah. Okay, so that was my moral quandary episode. I got a little off topic there. Me and Cam talking The Boys and what's going to happen there, which is super exciting for me. Oh god, I might have to worm my way into next week's Is That All podcast, because that makes me happy, tingly in my cockles, for what's going to happen with that. That said, tune in next week when we join the Rebels, because that's what you guys voted for. You want me to rebel? I'll rebel. I'll rebel like a mouthfowl. Aside from that, again, if you're watching me on YouTube, tune in tomorrow. If you're watching me on Twitch, you just all hang in there. Grab a drink, grab a snack, and I will be back in just a couple minutes. Yeah, that's all there is to it. And maybe shake some gates. Damn right, Cameron. We're gonna shake some gates. I'm gonna shake some gates right after I come back from grabbing a drink myself, and we'll be right back.